Well, education is very, very, very important. Like before you even take a step towards expressing your rejection to any form of, let's say, injustice or oppression, you need to be educated about it. Now, while we as Palestinians were surviving like Israeli criminal behavior, supporters, defenders, and beneficiaries of Israeli criminal behaviors were busy in their cultural backgrounds, whether, as you mentioned, like in Poland, because there are many like mass murderers and war criminals that actually came to Palestine from Poland, and they did not come to Palestine to live among Palestinians. They came to Palestine in order to replace Palestinian people. And then those people who have better understanding of Polish language than any Palestinian, better understanding of Polish norms, Polish histories, have been working on brainwashing like the Polish public about what's going on in Palestine. And not only in Poland, because the backgrounds of supporters, defenders, and beneficiaries of Israeli criminal behavior are all over Europe. They do the exact same thing in Russia. They do the exact same thing in Britain, in France, in Spain, in almost every corner in the Western world, and like they do it in even more aggressive and more, let's say, vulgar way when it comes to the United States of America. We are busy surviving their brutality, and they are busy marketing their brutality as a form of civility and democracy. You know? Many people might think that the oppression imposed upon the Palestinian people is exceptional. There's nothing exceptional about it. We have a form of oppression that is rooted in European nationalism as it used to exist back in the late 19th century. That's what we have. The tools that are used are very similar to the tools of settler colonial powers as were carried out all over the world 300 years prior to the first theorists of Zionism. Like Jodenstadt was written by an Austro-Hungarian journalist, I think back in late 20th century, and it was inspired by nearly 300 years of successful European obliteration and looting of the rest of the world. So those people have access to the norms. Those people have access to the culture. Those people have. And just like the savages of apartheid South Africa, who went to the south of Africa and maintained a savage regime of apartheid that was promoted as a form of civility to the white world, they did the exact same thing. They are promoting like the issue in Palestine as some kind of this cradle of democracy and civilization in this dark region. But that was brought from the copybooks of, apartheid South Africa. They were not even inventive. So they have more access to their backgrounds than we do. So we come to today and you see like, Israel is a Jewish state. I was like, I wish it was, because if Israel was a Jewish state, then I will not, I have no problem with the Jewish commandments of thou shalt not kill and thou shalt not steal. My experience is covered by Israelis murdering Palestinians and robbing Palestinian families of their land, inheritance, and property. Israel is a democracy. And if Israel is a democracy, then why the hell would I have a problem with it? I have a problem with this regime precisely because it lacks the basics of democratic behavior. Democracy is about the representation of the people under your control, right? One person, one vote. Those are the basis for democracy. I have a serious problem with this brutal regime precisely because it's not a democracy. You have 76 years of promoting such a savage regime as something that is exactly not. They promote Palestinian people not as Palestinian people who are subject to oppression, supremacy, apartheid, genocide, ethnic cleansing. They promote us as people who have some kind of genetic dysfunction that is rooted in an unexplained form of hatred to Jewish people. Well, you know what? We do not know. For us to actually think about it as like hatred to Jewish people, we need to start hating ourselves. Because we are inspired, you know? Like our culture in Palestine, the indigenous culture of Palestine, is something that has been evolving since the time of Jericho. You know, I'm talking about 10,000 years of human history. That 10,000 years of human history included contributions from all Abrahamic faiths, including the early Hebrews, including Jewish people. Like, I have to remind my brothers and sisters that when we used to express our rejection to Israeli criminal behavior through like having teenagers throwing rocks at tanks or military vehicles, that was not invented by us. That was actually invented by a teenager who was born in Bethlehem a few years before Jesus, who fought oppression with throwing rocks. And that kid grew up to become King David. So for me to actually hate Jews, I need to hate myself first. But it's typical for colonizers to go into somebody's land and steal some sacred symbols from those lands and then weaponize them and use it against the indigenous population there. It's typical. So education is really important. There is so much confusion going on in Palestine. It's rooted in one thing. Like, people get shocked when I try to tell them, like, Palestine and Israel are two different names referring to the exact same geography, right? It's just like Germany and Deutschland are two different names. People get shocked because you are conditioned to believe, not to see, not to think, but to believe that Israel and Palestine are two separate geographies. If you're not allowed to know the basics for what is going on, of course you'll be subject to confusion. And the ignorant mind is fertile for like promoting like white people and under like or in apartheid South Africa as the civilized. And ignorant mind is fertile for promoting the savagery of the state of Israel towards the Palestinian people into some kind of civility. So education is very, very important, and we just need to keep going, helping people understand the reality. Because once you understand the reality, it becomes very easy to reject it.